What's up, world? This is your guy, Guitar K, and today we're going to be talking about one of them subjects that people do not like to talk about, but we know it's all true, and we know that it's going on. Is it attraction or is it just availability? Look, the person that you're sleeping with, the person that you're messing around with, dating, seeing, laying around, humping around, whatever you want to call it. Is it attraction or is it just availability? Look, man, we get into these situationships, messing around with people that we don't really like, people that we know is not going nowhere. But when you get to cuddling and loving on somebody, spending time, man, things happen. Feelings get involved. You get attached. Look, at the end of the day, sex is a bond. Sex is a connection. You can call it what you want to call it, but that's what it is. It's a connection. It's a bond. It's a spiritual bond. It's a physical bond. It's a mental bond. Look. Let's say like if you glue two pieces of paper together, right? Then you go to tear them apart. When you do try to tear those things apart, it's going to be messy. It's going to be pieces of this paper stuck to this piece. Look, you can't tear them apart. You can't tear them apart without some stuff that's left, some leftover pieces. That's the same thing that happened with sex. And you can say what you want to say. I know people going to say, nah, that's not true. But at the end of the day, man, when you have sex with somebody, look, if you're not fall down drunk or high out your mind, you're going to remember that experience. You're going to feel that experience in your soul, not just in your body, because that's what sex is. It is a bond. And why you would want to give yourself to somebody that you don't really like in the first place is beyond me. We got to stop doing this, man. It got to be attraction over availability. Stop just settling for what's easy. Stop just going for what's because somebody live next door and it's easy access. Stop just going for the low hanging fruit. Stop messing around with people that you don't really like. Again, ask yourself, is it really attraction or is it just availability? Are you proud to be with this person? Is this somebody that you are proud of? Would you show them around like, hey, y'all, look at what I got right here. I am proud to be sleeping with this person. If not, why are you doing it? It all turns around to how you look at yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you value yourself? If you do, the person that you are giving yourself to or the person that you would lay down with would also be somebody of value, somebody of worth. Words should come to mind like standard, quality, value, worth. If you don't see that in that person, you shouldn't lay down with them. Look, man, look. Whatever happened to words like ambition, willingness, going after what you really want instead of just settling for what's right in your eyesight, man? Look. How can you be proud and willing to lay down with any and everything? How can you honestly say that you love yourself or value yourself if you're willing to give yourself to whoever? Even if that someone don't love themselves or don't value themselves. You better think about what I'm saying, man. Why do we settle for less? Why do we always go for convenience, the easy targets? Look. You got to become more than what you meant to be. You got to go for more than what you meant to be. And by messing with somebody that's less than what you want to be or less than what you know that your standard is, you're never going to hit your target because you're settling for less and you're going to get comfortable there. That's just how life is. Look, man, look. You can lie to yourself and you can play games if you want to. But for those of us that's smart enough, and even the ones that wear condoms, at the end of the day, it's still a connection. Look, no, don't get me wrong. I'm happy that you are wearing condoms because STDs is real. But at the end of the day, that sex is still a connection, man. Look, you ever watch one of them prescription drug commercials? Now, sex might cure what you wanted to do at the time. You know, it gives you something you can feel right then. It cures your horniness. But that thing can come with a lot of bad side effects. You know how at the end of the prescription drug commercial, it'd be like, it does this, it does that, it does this, it does that. Sex is the same way. Man, that thing might come with some baby mama drama, some baby daddy drama. It might come with some fighting, some arguing, some STDs, some jail time, some money spent that you don't want to spend. It's going to cause you some anxiety, some depression. So look, man, like I said, that thing can come with a lot of bad side effects. So think about it. Why are you willing to risk these side effects for somebody that's lower than your standards, for somebody that you know you don't really want to deal with? Because sometimes, and we know what happens, you go there with this person, next thing you know, you're stuck there with this person in one way or another. You might not be stuck in a relationship with them, but sometimes you do get stuck in a relationship with them, but one way or another, you're stuck with this person. Like I said, you might have a child with them. You might get a stalker. You know what I mean? You just don't know. You might get a window bust out your car. You might get your phone keep getting blown up. You might get some visits to your job that you don't want. Look, man, to avoid these situations, don't lay with it if you're not going to stay with it. Man, I don't know how to put it, man. Look, if it ain't somebody that you know is what you really want, why even go there? Again, is it attraction or is it availability? If you're not attracted, man, what is it? Are you distracted? Do you need, you know how when we was babies and we just needed a pacifier when we was crying, we just needed something to suck on. You know, we couldn't pacify ourselves. I think sometimes we use sex as a pacifier. No, we don't need the pacifier no more. We grown adults. You can find another hobby. You can sit down and do nothing. Just watch TV. You don't got to just be seeking late night booty calls all the time just because you ain't feeling good. You don't got to be running into the arms of somebody that you don't really want to be in their arms in the first place, man. You got to learn some self-control. You got to learn some discipline, man. Look. Again, man, and I know that it's not easy. I'm not saying that it's an easy thing to do. What I'm saying is that it can be done. And I'm saying if you think about it, the after effects and the consequences of it is not worth it. Think about it, man. Look, man, like I said, and if you're going to risk the effects that do come with having sex with people these days, at least make it somebody that you might want to be with. You got to ask yourself, are you worth more than just being available? And if you are, why do it? Take the time, put in the work on yourself, build yourself up to the level of what you want. That way you can only go for what you want. And then think about this. Consider this, man. When you held up in the position of available, you out of position. So you might be missing on Miss Attraction. You might be missing on Mr. Attraction. So if you're over here always dwelling in just what's available, you might miss out on what's really out there for you. That's one of the biggest reasons why you shouldn't be just out here banging around and slanging around, just messing with any and all everybody, because you're going to miss your somebody because you wasn't in position. So many things we miss out on in life because we just not in position. We not where we supposed to be. Old timers used to tell me, stop taking the shortcuts. Because when you take shortcuts, you in the back alleys, you on the dark roads. You seeing things you ain't supposed to see. You missing the scenic route. When you take the long road, you see what you're supposed to see. Yeah, sometimes it take longer to get there, but you ain't in them back alleys. You ain't in them dark alleys seeing people shooting dope, seeing prostitutes have sex and all the stuff that you ain't supposed to see. Go the right way. Take the way that you're supposed to see. That way, you ain't got to worry about all them ill effects of life that we wasn't never meant to see in the first place, man. Do it the right way. Go for what you really want. Stop settling. When you settle, you become weak. When you don't have any type of resistance or fight in life, you become lazy. You become weak. You always go for the counterfeit. You ever see anybody, you know, they settle for the half-price Jordans out the back of the trunk. They settle for the guy at the corner that's selling the Gucci bags. And they never will get the real thing, and they never will appreciate the real thing. And if you say something about it, you're the problem. No, it's not that. Look, man, look, I'm not judging nobody. I'm not knocking nobody. But if you never experience the real thing, man, look, you never know. But sometimes you got to sit and you got to bypass the easy things. You got to not spend your money on the half price thing. You got to save up the full fare so you can get the real thing. That's what I'm talking about here, man. Is it attraction or is it just availability? Are you just going for what's there at the time, knowing that it's not what you really want? And then 3 months down the road, you're fighting every day. You're arguing every day. And because you knew that you never wanted to be there in the first place, but you just took it because it was there. We don't have to do that, man. Look, we are strong people. We are resilient people. We don't always have to go for the instant gratification. I'm telling you, it's a lot of strength built in waiting. It's a lot of, character built in having some patience, man. And all we have to do is wait for something that we really like and then go for that opportunity. Stop taking what's available. Wait for what you're really attracted to come by. And in the meantime, you could be working on yourself. You could be building up yourself. So when that thing does come by, you are ready for it. But when you keep pouring yourself into what's available, you're not even going to be full when what's right for you comes along. Again, look at the situation you're in today and ask yourself, is this really attraction or is it just availability? Am I wasting my time in a going nowhere fast situationship? And do I need to step back from this thing and start working on myself and getting myself ready for when the real thing does come? Again, man, you better think about it. This is a real thing. People don't like to talk about it, but everybody knows that it's true. And everybody done been through it a time or 2 or 10 or going through it right now. Again, is it attraction or availability? We want attraction over availability, This is your guy, Guitar K. Be more